Greetings, WCCS families. My name is Scott Dillon, and I am blessed to serve as your head of school. I'm coming to you today to give you yet another update. As I begin, I need you to know we miss you and we miss school. We miss being together. But we are thankful that we can still communicate even from a distance. I think we all agree it's not the same, though. To begin with, I want you to know that we are continuously watching updates from our local, state, and federal authorities as we plan for the remainder of this school year. As of the recording of this video, the South Carolina governor has asked that schools remain closed through the end of April until at least May 1st. We will not return to campus until the authorities give us that green light. We are praying that we can find a way to be together at school before the school year comes to a close. As of this point, we are committing to a continuation of online learning through the end of April, and we'll be sure to communicate any changes as soon as we can. Now, if you were to follow any leadership blogs these days, and I do, many are sharing a similar message that goes something like this: in times of crisis, you hold fast to your mission and adjust your method of delivery. We've seen this played out in churches that saw online services on Easter Sunday. We've seen Zoom birthday parties. Here's a picture of my family as we gathered together to celebrate my dad's birthday in late March using Zoom so that we could be together. The method was very different than prior years, but there was no way we were going to miss out on the mission of being together. The same is true in schools, whether public or private, Christian or independent, whether college or high school, middle school, elementary, and even early childhood. The mission remains the same, even if the method must adjust. Yes, this is true at Westminster Catawba Christian School as well. Our mission has remained our focus throughout this coronavirus ordeal. Let me remind you of that mission and share a couple thoughts on it. As a ministry of Westminster Presbyterian Church, we exist to educate students to bless our world as disciples of Christ. Please note that this mission is devoid of methods. That's intentional as methods change with the times. Boy, are we seeing that right now. However, the mission is clear. We are a ministry of Westminster Presbyterian Church. We remain in close partnership with her throughout this process, in everything from shared space to shared resources to the continual emotional and spiritual support we seek to share with each other. We are an educational institution. We are called to educate students. This includes in-person and online education. It includes the 3 R's of reading, writing, and arithmetic, as well as instruction in knowledge and understanding and the pursuit of wisdom. Note that there's an end goal to our educating students, and that is that they would bless our world as disciples of Jesus Christ. To do so, they must first be Jesus followers. That's why we seek to integrate the truths of the gospel into every discipline, from the youngest to the oldest students we serve. It's also why training for life and eternal life takes precedence at times. Note, however, that the stated end is that our students would bless the world. They are not the end of the excellent education that WCCS provides. They are a means to an end, and that end is that the world would know Jesus. We are unwavering in our mission. Our greatest desire is that our students would take the education received at WCCS, regardless of mission, regardless of method, and bless the world with it. You have heard me use the verse, 3 John 4. It says, I have no greater joy than to hear that my children are walking in the truth. I believe that any child who walks in the truth will bless the world as a disciple of Christ. While these descriptions are not necessarily interchangeable, I do believe they complement each other well. While we hold fast to the mission, how do we accomplish it in our world today, especially as we seek to the last weeks of this school year? What method or methods must we implement? I actually believe there are a few opportunities here to make a huge impact on the mission of our school, but it will take the entire WCCS community to pull it off. So here it goes. We as adults, we need to set an example for our children in blessing the world as disciples of Christ. We need to personally own this mission and then use whatever methods we can to chase hard after it. Our methods will be different because we're different, but we scan the horizon looking for those in need. It's not hard to look around and see folks in need. Some are lonely due to isolation and social distancing. Some are more susceptible to the coronavirus and are scared. Some have lost jobs and are unemployed. Some have had jobs reduced and are underemployed. Some are hungry, some need shelter. All need Jesus. You may have noticed that our April social media campaign is hashtag blessing our world. If you follow WCCS on Facebook or Instagram, and I hope you do, you'll see examples of children seeking to bless the world. But we know that they are not doing this alone. They're being led by the adults in their lives, by parents, teachers, grandparents, neighbors, pastors. Our kids need to see us blessing our world. Allow me to make this very practical and pointed. I was speaking to a lower school dad earlier this week who exemplified this desire to bless our world as he has given me permission to share a portion of our conversation with you. Basically, he was caring about his neighbor. He called to ask me if WCCS was planning on refunding any tuition as we neared the end of the year, given the change in schooling methods. Before I could give a detailed answer, he told me of a neighbor of his, also a WCCS parent, who could really use a financial break right now due to his job situation. This dad said, "My job is secure. I don't need a refund right now, but this dad needs help, and I thought it might help him." A few minutes into the conversation, this dad noted that a small refund for all wouldn't really help those who were in the greatest need, and that it would be great if the school could find a way to use the resources we have for those whose situations are most desperate. He said maybe we could provide emergency funds for those who would need immediate help. Maybe we could offer more variable tuition for those who would need it next year. If we were able to meet in the same room, I would have jumped up and given him a big hug at this point, presuming social distancing regulations were behind us. But that's it. He got it. He scanned the horizon for those in need. He sought me out in hopes that WCCS could be a blessing. What this dad didn't know was that we're already doing many of these things and more. In May, we will be refunding monies paid for school lunches that were not delivered in late March and early April. We'll also be refunding monies paid for extended school care for the weeks that the buildings have been closed. Some may not know this, but there was an emergency fund set up by WCCS parents 7 years ago, even before I arrived at the school. The purpose of this fund is to come alongside those families who are hit with unforeseen emergencies or they need assistance to meet their financial obligations to the school. I'm so thankful to say that we are currently growing that fund to help us meet even more needs that will surely arise in the days ahead. We've added almost $4,000 to this fund just in the last 2 weeks. We're also looking for ways to expand our planned variable tuition schedule for next school year. We've already processed more than 130 applications, but we're not done. Some of those may need more help if their situations change. Others may not have needed help when the process opened a few months ago, but may need to apply now. And for those in need, I hope you will. We are also participating in the Payroll Protection Plan that's part of the recently passed CARES Act. This will guarantee our ability to pay our faculty and staff over the next few months, while seeking to provide a greater amount of financial assistance to our families with the greatest needs both now and into next school year. We are also considering many other ways to come alongside our families, short-term and long-term, but we can't commit to further details quite yet. Please know that we are aware of your questions and are doing all that we can to make wise and timely decisions for the good of our families and the school. There are many moving parts to these processes. And while I am thankful for what God has allowed us to do, I'm very aware that there is likely more in front of us than behind. So here's my challenge to you. Join us in our mission to bless our world as disciples of Christ. Help us set that example for our students. Look around carefully. If you're in the position to help us help other WCCS families, please contact me directly and I will show you how to contribute to our emergency fund. If you know of others in need, please encourage them to connect with me directly. If you're in need, please reach out to me directly over the phone. I will personally work with you to be sure to keep any needs you share confidential. As the dad in the story above said, we have not because we ask not, so please ask. In doing so, you'll be giving us the opportunity to fulfill our mission. Just what might it look like for our community to come together to care for each other and bless the world as disciples of Christ? Think what it would teach our kids. Our kids are learning so many hard lessons these days. Students are missing each other. They're missing school activities. They're hearing of financial losses. Some are even losing family members. It's our desire to use even the most challenging times that we're in to point our kids to Christ. Know that we're praying for you as you navigate these waters. We appreciate your prayers as well. We love you. We miss you. Can't wait to be together. Thank you.